and it works really good for autoimmune disease. Guys, if you just joined us, welcome, welcome. So my name is Dr. Jones. I have clinics we service across the nation, all 50 states. Right now, I'm in a 4-part series teaching you guys about zombie mode, AKA weight loss plateau, how to fix it and how to prevent it. I'm on part 2. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the science of what's going on in your body. Zombie mode and weight loss stall mirrors hypothyroidism. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean it mirrors hypothyroidism? What I mean is clinical hypothyroidism, which is a medical condition where you don't have enough thyroid hormone stimulation, is actually what happens when you're in starvation mode. This is what happens when you're in zombie mode. So if you just joined us, zombie mode is where your weight loss stalls, you're losing weight and it stalls, and then you develop various symptoms like tiredness, brain foggy, constipation, feeling cold, achy body. You feel like shit and you're no longer losing weight. And if you stop the medication or if you take a break from what you're doing, this extreme amount of restriction, you're going to start gaining weight. When you're in zombie mode, you're very sensitive to weight gain. It's really uncomfortable. And I know a lot of you guys watching this right now know exactly what I'm talking about. It's really uncomfortable, isn't it? You're kind of panicky because you're holding on to something really tightly by starving yourself. Intuitively, you're not eating enough, but you don't have a solution. We got a solution that's going to be part 3. But I wanted you guys to understand the science of what's going on. So thyroid hormone, really, really important hormone in the body. So every single cell in your body has a receptor for thyroid. When the thyroid hormone attaches to your surface of your cell, it is what stimulates and drives the mitochondria, which you've heard of the mitochondria. The mitochondria is like the batteries of the cell. The mitochondria converts the very broken down parts of the food that we eat into the energy that the body utilizes called ATP. So it's the ATP production that is driven by hypothyroidism. So how many people watching this actually have true clinical grade hypothyroidism? Let me know in the comments. I think it's all relative, SupDoc. You might have misinterpreted what I was explaining. What I explained was the science of starvation mode, how it happens. Actually, I'm explaining the science right now. I haven't even explained the science yet. So keep listening before you get critical. But I love people being critical as long as you're trying to learn. You can disagree with what I say all day. And if you disagree, let me know. Just don't be a douche about it. That's all I ask. My moderators are going to boot you out. But I love when people disagree with me because it gives me a chance to strengthen it and it gives me a chance to explain it better. So the science of the metabolic downregulation that I'm referring to now means that you have less thyroid hormone production. Specifically, you have lower amounts of free T3 and you have higher amounts of reverse T3. That's the science right there. If you want to know how starvation mode relates to metabolism, I'm telling you right there, whoever was the person that got critical of my non-perfect scientific explanation, higher reverse T3, lower free T3. You can measure this on blood lab. And that's going to be why the symptoms of starvation mode literally mirror hypothyroidism. Brain fog, tiredness, constipation. You're no longer losing weight. You feel really cold. You might even start losing hair. These are real hypothyroid symptoms. Now, here's the difference between clinical hypothyroidism and starvation mode. You guys ready? Clinical hypothyroidism, you need medication. Unless you're working with a really in-depth functional doctor, you might not need medication, but most of you guys, you're not working with a full-blown functional doctor to that capacity, so you need medication. Or you just eat more food. And that's going to segue into part 3 of my 4-part series on how to fix this. The next part 3, what we're going to talk about is fixing the stall, fixing zombie mode, coming out of zombie mode. I'm about to give you guys the anecdote here. You got to eat more food, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. And shortly, you'll learn why. Speech therapist, that's my background, but I don't do in-depth one-on-one functional work anymore. I do the group coaching in my clinic. I do have a functional doctor that I can refer you to. No, I never said to fast if you're stalled. Never said that. When you're in a weight loss stall, fasting is actually the last thing you're supposed to do. You can do intermittent fasting. I'm okay with intermittent fasting, but you have to hit your calorie goal 7 days a week. Stephanie, I actually live in Denver, but we service all 50 states. Tesamorelin in nasal spray. I haven't seen any effective studies. Tesamorelin, these are definitely in injection, subcutaneous injections. Any tips before the day of your shot? Yeah, get real serious about your goals. Take 15 minutes, turn off your phone, get a piece of paper, and start writing down all the goals that you have, all the things that are going to happen when you hit your weight loss goal. Get really serious about visualizing what's going to happen in 5 years when you hit your weight loss goal in the next 6 months. And then here's the hard part, then get really serious about what's going to happen in 10 years if you don't hit your goal. And I promise when you do some mindset shift like that, there's going to be like somebody lit a fire behind your ass, if you know what I mean. Chris, I don't think we're going to see TikTok actually be gone. What's going to happen? Nonetheless, I'm on every platform, just so you know. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter. But no platform has a live feature like TikTok, and that's unfortunate. So if I were you guys, I would get into my private community. You could also subscribe to me on TikTok Live. I have TikTok Live sub onlys. So I go live for my subs, and it's like $10 a month or something. But I would get into my private network on Mighty Network. That's $27 a month. It's also included if you do my coaching or if you get prescriptions from us. Can you do this if you don't have a gallbladder? It depends on the situation. It depends on why the gallbladder was removed. So my medical team will talk to you about that, and we'll discuss more in depth and figure out, the answer to your question. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. Hey Jay, what are your thoughts on MOTS-C and semaglutide? I think it's great, man. I think MOTS-C is awesome. It's a very, very powerful mitochondrial peptide. Can you explain what is GLP-1? So GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide. These are naturally occurring incretin peptides, peptide hormones in the body. They are released when you eat, and they are responsible for making you full. They're responsible for optimizing your insulin function. They reduce cravings, they make you full. And so now we have these medications that have been modified, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, semaglutide, tirzepatide, retatrutide. They've been modified to last significantly longer in the body to help treat obesity, to treat diabetes, to treat various metabolic health issues. You don't have to be obese or diabetic. And in fact, these medications can be just as much to take somebody who's just in the normal category and get them to super optimal, as much as they can get somebody who's way far gone, super obese, super diabetic, that sounds funny, and get them over to optimal too as well. It's just how you dose them. Why do people rebound after getting off? Because there's no such thing as a medication fixing your problem long term. Medications, Mandy, are medications. Your permanent solution is going to be the right combination of proper lifestyle interventions that we're going to teach you. The medication is a tool, not the solution. I'm not a fan, user 941, of Sloopity Sloop. It's too new. It's in that research category, and you don't need it. Honestly, if you follow my guidance, you don't need to be messing around with research chemicals. Are you allowed to drink alcohol in moderation? That's going to be your choice. Can a lot of people drink alcohol in moderation and be fine? Yes. Is it optimal? No. Do you need to? That's a personal question. Should you try to get off? That's also a personal question. What would Dr. Jones do? I would stop drinking. Do you need to drink alcohol? That's a personal question. Is it harming you? Yes. In moderation, is it harming you? Yes. There's been some newer research over the last couple of years with moderate alcohol consumption. Moderate, not heavy. We all know heavy alcohol drinking is bad. Moderate, a couple drinks a week, is associated with increased levels of anxiety when you're not drinking. So to have a couple drinks and have a moderate decrease in anxiety for a couple hours, is it worth it to have another 6 days of increased anxiety, increased cortisol? I don't think that's worth it. At that point, you might as well get hammered. No, I'm totally kidding. But I kind of feel that way. Like, oh man. Oh yeah, alcohol just there's multiple pathways of your health get destroyed. Since having my gallbladder out 8 years ago, my metabolism has been slow since. Sean, we can help you. Shoot us a text message. Get yourself scheduled for that consultation. And if you do think you struggle with alcoholism, if you think that you have an addiction, the GLP-1s make it easier to kick the addiction. So anyways, are you guys ready for part 3? Are you guys ready for the solution to weight loss stall? Let me know in the comments. Just remind me real quick, are you currently on a weight loss stall? Are you currently ready to learn about how to fix it with the reverse diet? Let me know. I just want to make sure you guys are ready. Guys, if you just joined us, Dr. Jones, I have clinics. We service all 50 states. Please shoot us a message if you're interested in becoming an advisor, which helps it's the sales process of getting people started. Also, if you want to be a referral or an affiliate, all those programs are ready to rock and roll. And if you are interested yourself in permanent weight maintenance, if you're tired of being sick and tired, if you're tired of the constant back and forth over and over and over, and you want this to be the last weight loss program you ever do, this phone number right here is the phone number to reach out to my team, and it starts with that free consultation. Yes, some people sign up on the first call, some people sign up on the second call. It totally depends on you and your comfort level and what you want to do. Make sure you guys watch my webinar. Just when you schedule your consultation, you're going to be sent the webinar. Make sure you watch the webinar because then you will fully understand exactly what this program is. There's 2 webinars. They're like 10 minutes, 15 minutes each. They're very, very detailed. Okay. Part 3. How do you fix zombie mode? How do you fix the reverse diet? And then part 4, how do you prevent it? Part 4, everybody gets kind of like, oh, okay, cool. But, part 3 is all I need. No, preventing it is a big deal too. So fixing it, you fix this with a reverse diet or a metabolic reset. About the same thing. In a nutshell, you're just eating more, but it gets more complicated. It's more complicated than that because if you eat more too quickly for your body, you're going to start gaining weight. And mentally, we talked about this earlier. When you're in this weight loss stall, it's a real sensitive, it's a mentally sensitive period of time because you're struggling, you're afraid, you're concerned about gaining weight. And so, in my opinion, I've worked with too many people. Like you got to be slow and steady and careful. So step number 1 is we figure out how many calories you're eating. And by the way, if you're not losing weight, but you're losing inches, you're not in a stall. So don't worry about it. If you're not losing weight and you're not losing inches, you're in a stall, just to be clear. Yeah, Mateo, you need a new doctor, buddy. Your doctor is local. So we figure out how many calories you're eating. So let's say you're eating 1,000. Okay. So you're eating 1,000 calories. Week number 1, your goal is to eat 1,200 for 7 days. All 7 days, you have to hit 1,200 calories. I don't care if you intermittent fast, that's cool. but you can't do any long fasting. You have to hit 1,200 calories for 7 days. And then week number 2, it's going to be 1,400. And then week number 3, it's going to be 1,600. And then week number 4, it's going to be 1,800. And then 2,000. And that's probably where we're going to top off. You know, everybody's usually average is around 2,000. That's the median. So we're paying attention, though, every week before we increase to your body, to your symptoms. I know I'm a little embarrassed to wear this beanie, but I actually don't have any more beanies. I am a diehard Niners fan, and they suck this year. I pretty much stopped watching football, but you know, it is what it is. So when you're doing this reset, you need to pay attention to your symptoms. You need to pay attention to how you feel. You should notice that your brain fog decreases, your energy increases, you feel warmer, you don't feel as cold. Please, oh, please don't go to 17 milligrams. What is wrong with you, Melanie? Who is telling you to? And by the way, I've seen doctors talk about mega dosing. I think that's insane. I think that it's completely unnecessary. It can be dangerous. Could there be some unique situations? Sure. You can never say never. Do I think mega dosing should even be in the conversation for no? There's so many things to try before mega dosing. I get it, Melanie. You're on 15 and you're not losing. But do you want to try something that can be potentially dangerous to get the weight loss, or would you rather do things that are much safer for you? That's your choice. And the higher you go, the more likely, even if it does work, that you're just going to rebound and gain the weight afterwards. That's what drives me crazy about people talking about mega dosing. It's insane. Okay, so zombie mode, increasing your calories, about 200 calories 1 week at a time, paying attention to your symptoms, noting improvement in the zombie-like symptoms. This is like coming out of battery saving mode. I like to call it battery saving mode. Zombie mode is the same thing as battery saving mode, because you think about a laptop, when you put it in battery saving mode, it's not as fast. The screen keeps turning off. You know, it's just like annoying. It's slower. That's what zombie mode is like. So we want to turn up. And you know what happens to your weight, by the way? As you're eating more calories, your weight doesn't change. It's pretty crazy. So for most people during the reset, their weight doesn't change. Some of you will even start to lose weight during the reset. All right, guys. Any questions so far on the solution? Does that make sense? The metabolic reset, the reverse diet. Part 4 in a couple minutes is going to be how to prevent it. But I want to make sure you guys understand about how to fix it. Of course, I recommend that you don't do this on your own. I recommend that you work with me in some capacity, whether you become a TikTok Live subscriber for $10 a month, whether you join the Flow Academy membership for $27 a month, whether you become a Flow student for $99 a month, whatever you want to do. Being able to get some questions answered, being able to get some coaching, some support, I think is really important, because it's not easy. But that's your choice. We're here for you. We have a ton of free resources as well. I just want to let you guys know we have these different options and different coaching programs to help you. I'm going to grab something really quick. All right. Everybody says that makes sense. I love it. I love it. Can you take Claritin while on Tirzepatide? I'm not aware of any sort of contraindication or reason why Claritin would be a concern. I haven't heard it. I would always advise you guys, for your own medical history's sake, talk to your doctor who knows your health, but not aware of any contraindication. Jay, I'm in Canada. I'm interested in being an affiliate. Yeah, Jay, you can be an affiliate in Canada. Just make sure that you have people in America that you could rep to. You can do my coaching from Canada, but I think if your audience is mostly in Canada, it's might be more challenging. You have to be in the States for us to prescribe, but you can do my coaching from around the globe. Um, Monjaro makes me feel tired, Jonathan. That's because you're probably not eating enough food. When you look at the GLP-1 medication mechanism of action, reducing inflammation, improving metabolic health, these things should make you feel better. These things should increase energy, at least not notice a change. Decreasing energy, increased tiredness. This is happening because you're not eating enough food. You're not getting enough micro and macronutrients, and that's why this is happening. It could be electrolytes too. Electrolytes is another one to check. How do you figure out how many calories you should be eating? Mom, counting calories long term is a waste of time. I do like you guys to count calories on the short term. It's called calorie counting consciousness, which that's going to be a good video, actually. Um, is it a good idea to inject every 6 days? That's a kind of a random frequency. Why would you want to inject every 6 days? You can inject twice a week. You can inject once a week if your doctor clears the dosing for you. But every 6 days seems a little random. Maybe there's something I don't know. Thoughts on CMOS for nutrients? You know, meat, carnivore is going to be a better source of nutrients than CMOS. Does CMOS have nutrients in it? Sure. I'm sure it does. But I'm a much bigger fan of carnivore. Meat has all the nutrients your body needs in a form that your body can actually absorb really much better. It can absorb much better because you can absorb from plants, but plants have a certain amount of anti-nutrients and toxic load that for some people is the reason why their health is a mess. Yeah, mom, there's something going on and I'd love to work with you. I'd love to help you fix the issue. So shoot us a text message here and get yourself scheduled for that free consultation. I definitely would like to know what's going on. And we might need to do some comprehensive lab work. We like to draw when patients work with us, we're drawing for insulin resistance. It's a fasting insulin and C-peptide panel. So a fasting insulin and C-peptide is how you can determine insulin resistance. And then we have ESR and CRP, which are inflammatory panels. And then we have the functional thyroid panel, which is reverse T3, free T3, free T4, and TSH. And then we have A1C, metabolic panel, CBC. These are all, it's all 149 for this awesome panel. And we do work with Quest Labs and we can get it for anybody across the nation. Can it make your muscles sore? Can what make your muscles sore? The GLP-1, no. Poking your needle into an area, yes, that can make it sore. You should be getting some amount of soreness from lifting weights, though. I want you to feel a little bit of muscle soreness when you're lifting weights. Really important. You don't have to beat yourself up. And technically, you don't have to get sore, but I do like people training and actually feeling like a little bit of soreness. Yeah, I just injecting every 6 days just seems like a really easy way to mess up and mess your frequency up. I want it to be easy, smooth, I don't want it to be challenging, you know? Constant rotation of what body part is sore. Exactly. You should every day it should be like a new muscle area, a new muscle part. Not every day, but a couple times a week you should be feeling a different part of the body. Miss Thing, afternoon doc. Tomorrow's my third jab. I'm doing well. I'm so full. Gym is awesome. That's great. I'm a little concerned when you say you're so full. I'm concerned because that means you're probably not eating enough food. You're probably not getting enough micro and macronutrients. That's a concern now. Because guess what, guys? We haven't got to part 4 yet. Part 4 of today's series is how do we prevent zombie mode? How do we prevent the metabolic downregulation? How do we prevent the weight loss stall from happening? Oh my gosh, are you guys ready? Are you ready to learn how to prevent the weight loss stall? Guys, if you just joined us here in the live, welcome, welcome. So, my name is Dr. Jones. I have clinics we service across the nation, all 50 states. I work with my medical practitioners. They do the prescriptions, just so you guys know. Hormone therapies, BHRT, HRT. We do fat loss peptides like Semorelin, Tesamorelin, CJC, Ipamorelin, AOD, MOTC, 5-amino 1-MQ. We do the GLP-1, Semaglutide, Tirzepatide, Retatrutide. Yes, that's part of the answer, E199, but it gets a little bit more than that. You're not gonna expect what I'm about to tell you guys right now. It's not as simple as you think. Yes, eating enough. That's part of it. But you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised when you learn here how you prevent it. It also ties into the philosophy of my program, flow. But before we get into that, if you just joined us, my name is Dr. Jones and I service across the nation. That's what I do. So do me a big favor, introduce yourself. Let me know if you're new to the channel, where you're watching from, how's it going if you haven't already introduced yourself, and what sort of struggles, or if things are going good and there's no struggles, that's great. Share me the positivity too as well. While you guys are doing that, if you don't mind, do me a big favor. Let's smash that like button. I see that we're at 16,000, which is freaking great. If you guys don't mind, let's see if we can get to 25,000 by 8:30. That would be fantastic. Um, Share this live out with anybody that you think would benefit. The little share button on the bottom left. And you know, you can share it to anybody on your little thing. It just pops up a screen of options. It'll just send them to a DM. That helps the algorithm too as well. I want you guys to know that we have a ton of free resources. We have our free Facebook community. We have our podcast, which is everywhere. We have the YouTube page. Make sure you're following me on YouTube and make sure you're following me on TikTok. Subscribe, turn on your notifications. And then if you want our free weight loss guide and free peptide guide, hey, Turbo Rider, welcome. We got Aaron from Scotland. I feel like we're getting a lot more foreign people the last month. That's cool though. Sorry, you guys are foreign to me, just like I'm foreign to you. a lot of people from the UK across the pond, you know. So a lot of Canadians we have too as well. And then this phone number here is the best number. Ivy's from California. That's where I grew up, by the way. I grew up in Hacienda Heights, if you guys know where that's at. Pretty sad what's happening right now in Los Angeles, California, with all those wildfires. Did you guys see that video of the mayor? They were literally interviewing the mayor of Los Angeles because I guess she did something. Well, what did she do? She basically, it was not entirely her fault, but it was partially her fault. She like reallocated the funds away from the firefighters and they couldn't fix I don't know, something like that. I didn't really look into it too much. Pomona, California, Gabby. I used to live there too. Yeah, she stopped funding the firefighters and then this massive fire happened. That's pretty sad. Yeah. I agree. Thank you for correcting me. International is a better word because foreign sounds like I could see how people might be like, you know, they might take that the wrong way. Yeah, international is cool. I like that. Still rocking the Niners gear, no matter what, Mark. Ride or die. So last thing I'll say, this phone number here, is the best number to reach out to my team if you haven't already. Shoot us a text message with your name and your email and get yourself scheduled for that free consultation. We got some South Africa. Yes. You know what? I would love to go to Africa, by the way. I would love to see South Africa and Africa too as well, and go out there and see. I want to see my fiance be happy 24/7. Not she's always happy, but you know. You want to go to China, babe? But you've been there already. You want to go to China next for our big? You have to. You got a bunch of family there. Okay, my fiance says we're gonna go see her family in China. So I don't get much say in it. Cool. I've been telling her to get on camera because she's extremely fit and she works out very religiously. I want her to make series of videos, workout videos, skincare, but she won't do it. Okay. Anyways, enough about this. Let's get in. I don't want to, I know you guys are interested to learn about how to prevent the weight loss stall. If you're feeling sick, I probably wouldn't jump to your second dose, Mila. I would regroup a little bit, talk to your doctor, see what's going on. Or if you don't have any support, you can reach out to us. Stacking MOTS-C and semaglutide, good idea. Yeah, Jay, I think that's great under medical supervision, of course. I don't have any details about what's going on. So we talked about zombie mode. We talked about starvation mode, metabolic downregulation. You guys understand how it happened. You guys understand the science of it. And now you understand how to reverse it. But how do you prevent it? Okay. So somebody said earlier, you eat enough. Yes, that's true. But what does that mean? Because if you eat too much, you're not going to lose weight. So how the heck do you eat enough but not eat too much? Do you have to count your calories? Maybe. If you counted your calories and you were right at that perfect range where it's not too much and it's not too little, that could work on the short term. But we all know counting calories sucks. And nobody's going to keep up with that. Very few people are going to keep up with that long term. So don't worry. My solution is not counting calories. And I very often laugh when I see programs that center around caloric goals because very few people can actually adhere and sustain to calorie counting. So to me, it's just a waste of time. My solution involves very little counting calories, calorie counting, and it involves fixing metabolic health. If you fix metabolic health, guess what? You generally don't have to count calories. I say generally. A little bit of calorie counting consciousness is what I think is really, really important, where we just kind of estimate based off of having a skill set of counting 2 weeks out of a year. That's all I need you to do is take 2 weeks every single year, count your calories, calibrate. Maybe we're due to count our calories, actually. We should do that starting tomorrow, get our calibration for this year. All the meat and fruit. But anyways, so if you fix metabolic health, your hunger cues start to become normal. They normalize. So you can eat when you can eat till you're comfortably stuffed. Now, but you're not there yet. So how the heck can we prevent a weight loss stall from happening? So now I go back to the genius design of the program Flow. FLOA, right here. You see on the bottom of my shirt, hashtag go with the flow. Fasting like our ancestors. So Flow is my structured approach towards prolonged and longer fasting. It's much, much more than just fasting, but fasting is a huge piece. It's the center of our lifestyle. I don't know about you, but if I want to burn 4,000 calories, I would much rather just not eat for 2 days with some appetite suppressants to make it easy than try to exercise strenuous exercise for 8 hours. I don't know about you guys. What would you rather do? Would you rather do 8 hours of grueling exercise at a high intensity? Or would you rather get 2 days free of time where your appetite's suppressed, where you don't have to worry about, you get all this extra, you know how much extra time you get in 2 days when you don't have to worry about food? No prep, no preoccupation, no time eating, no time prepping, no time pooping. Seriously, you don't poop very little, poop a little bit, but, and then you get all the health benefits. The health benefits are real. It's crazy. You drop your insulin levels, you drop inflammation. It's it's wild. So I can't tell you guys because the TikTok lords, they don't like when I say the protocol, but one of my moderators can drop it in the comments. What does flow stand around? Long rounds of prolonged fasting that we make it easier week by week with the appetite suppressants, the GLP-1s, the tesofensines, and then we make it easier on the body to fast with the fatty mobilization, the retatrutide, the AOD, the Semorolin, the Tesamorolin. These peptides will mobilize your body fat and make it really easy. So you're still probably wondering, okay, Dr. Jones, I still don't understand how am I going to prevent starvation mode? All right, you ready? Instead of decreasing your calories 7 days a week after week, which led you to the weight loss plateau, we're not going to do that. Think of your weekly calorie deficit contained within that long fast. Because a fast, by definition, is an extreme calorie definition. In fact, a fast is the most extreme calorie definition or most extreme calorie restriction by definition. The other 5 days, you are not restricting your calories. In fact, the other 5 days in flow, you need to eat at or more than your TEE, your total energy expenditure. But you don't I don't worry about you having to be so meticulous and count. That's why I want you to count for 2 or 3 weeks in the beginning of my program. So that way you can estimate and then just comfortably estimate over the next 5 days when you're not doing the long flow fast that you're getting somewhere around 2,000 calories, give or take, whatever your number is. If you do that, you very unlikely will get into a weight loss plateau. Why is that? Can somebody answer the question? I want to really challenge your thinking. If the weekly deficit in calories is the same between 2 full days of fasting with lots of eating versus, let's say, a daily caloric restriction, if the weekly calorie deficit is the same, in theory, you'll lose the same amount of weight, which it's actually not theory, it's science. You'll lose the same amount of weight. Why would my scenario be more favorable for preventing starvation mode, for preventing the plateau? Kind of, not necessarily a reset. It depends on what you mean by reset. Rebalancing, sort of. I like that. Let's keep going with the answers. Why do you think an approach like that would prevent your body from starving? Prevent your body from going into metabolic downregulation? Yeah, we're just switching it up. Your body is an amazing, it's kind of like carb cycling. It's more like calorie cycling, but very similar concept. Exactly. You're tricking your body. You're cycling things. You're cycling your calories. For years, I experimented with different strategies of fasting because fasting is what helped me reverse my insulin resistance. Fasting to this extent is what ended my constant yo-yo and weight issues. Because if you guys didn't know this, I lost 100 pounds when I was 16. And for about 8 years after that, I continued to yo-yo with my personal weight, constantly regaining and losing and regaining and losing. And then I kept pushing fasting finally after I started fasting and longer rounds of fasting, different styles of fasting. And it was the prolong that really put it all together week by week. So and then you have all the other benefits too. So not only are you cycling your calories, but you're also fixing insulin resistance. So it's a double whammy. Restricting your calories does improve insulin resistance, yes, but not as much as fasting. You don't have to, but it's more powerful. It's stronger. It's a greater stimulus for your body to do 48 hours consecutively than 2 24s. It's way more powerful for your body. So ideally, you work up to it. And we've had a ton of success with our patients doing that. Not for life, just so you know, guys, not for life. You do not do this for life. It's not sustainable, but you do it for your weight loss portion of your life. So you do it for the beginning of your program while you have all that extra fat on your body to lose. Once you get to your ideal body fat percentage, guess what? Now, how do you maintain the fat loss with ease? You do one 48-hour or one long. I got to be careful with the numbers here. You do one long once a month, maybe, but you keep the rest of the month dialed in. You do intermittent fasting every day. You keep weight training 3 times a week. Nutritionally, maybe you're doing carnivore, maybe you're doing keto. I'm becoming a bigger fan of carnivore. Both carnivore and keto, though, whichever one you're doing, you don't need to maintain that for life. Once you get really healthy, you can. But both carnivore and keto, I want to reintroduce carbs in the future in the form of fruit, maple syrup, honey, and dairy. Those to me are the least toxic and best forms of carbohydrates to add. And not everybody's going to be able to tolerate dairy, of course. A2 dairy, by the way, is much better to tolerate. It doesn't even have to be a water fast. Coffee, tea, these are all okay. Yeah, River Rock, it sounds like you're just not eating enough food, my friend. I would love to get you into a consultation and I would love to dial in your program. Jilly, what does your eating look like in your 8-hour window? It just depends. I have many different approaches. If it's carnivore, it's all meat, fatty red meat. If you asked me, Dr. Jones, what do you recommend is going to get me the best results? Carnivore, fatty red meat. If you said, Dr. Jones, I'm not doing that, give me the next option. Then I'm going to say keto version of Paleo Mediterranean. So still a bunch of fatty red meat, but but you can have vegetables. That's the difference. You can have vegetables and nuts and some of these other fatty sources. That would be the difference between carnivore and keto. But guess what they both have in common? No processed foods. The only difference is really from keto to carnivore is you are taking the next leap and getting rid of plants. Because I truthfully am starting to understand and believe it's a choice. It's a choice you guys have to accept, because there's no randomized controlled trials right now that can tell us without a doubt. So it's a choice that you have to make. Either you believe plants are bad for you or you don't. And if you do, then why do you keep eating them? And if you're not ready to accept that, I've had plenty of people do really good without carnivore. Let me be clear. But now I believe everybody would have done better if they would have done carnivore. But nothing matters if you can't sustain it. So it's so important before we start talking about carnivore that we start talking about real sustainability. And if you're not ready for that, if you're like, Dr. Jones, you're a madman, then don't do it yet. Just make an improvement from what you're doing now. If you're eating the SAD diet, the standard American diet, by the way, guys, you guys know the standard American diet, the acronym is SAD because the standard American diet is very sad. You don't have to go straight from that to carnivore, although you could if you're ready for if you just got that personality type where you're like, I'm all in, baby. Radical change. I get it. I kind of have that personality too. And GLP-1s will make it easier for you to make such a radical switch too as well, which is also pretty cool. But you got to be honest with yourself about the ability for you to be sustainable. And you can make the switch from the SAD diet to just keto. And then, we can look at carnivore later. Meats, fruits, and raw dairy is actually what I'm doing right now, Steph. I call it light carnivore. There's no name for it. I'm just calling it carnivore light. We have carnivore heavy and carnivore light. Carnivore light, you have to be insulin sensitive though. Well, let me rephrase that. There's also maple syrup and honey, which is definitely, I guess we can break down carnivore light into two categories. Carnivore light, insulin sensitive. You can have maple syrup, you can have honey, you can have all the fruit you want. Carnivore light, insulin resistant. Let's hold off on the honey and maple syrup as much as you can, and let's try to keep our fruit in the lower glycemic category. I don't know if you would consider that animal based, Billy, because there's fruit. Animal based means mostly animal. Okay. Let's see what the old see animal based diet right here excludes all plants, excludes fruit. So I didn't think it was an animal based diet because animal based diet is fruit is not allowed. No, but I just oh, hold on. This is carnivore diet. Hold on. I see what you're saying. What does animal based diet look like? Let's see. You could be right. I always fact check myself. It keeps giving me carnivore diet when I type in animal based. Ah, yeah. Paul Salandino calls it an animal based diet. Okay. That's who I got this from was Paul Salandino. He came up with the animal based food period. Food animal based food pyramid. I love this food pyramid. I'm actually going to steal this picture. I bought his honey, so he better let me use this image. Yeah, there's a lot of disagreements with Carnivore MD for sure. And I understand where he's coming from, where they come from. A lot of people think that you shouldn't be having those carbs. But I kind of agree with him more, but I do think a lot of you guys need to go through carnivore strict first because you have too many gut issues and you have too many health issues. Are electrolyte tabs as effective as powder? I'm not sure what you mean. Any electrolytes are good as long as you know, they're not full of toxic crap. They're not full of sugars. They're sweetened with stevia, or if you're lucky, allulose. Yeah, I'm gonna come up with some graphics. It'll be available in my community, and I'll probably come up with a free guide for you guys too as well. What vitamins should you take? I'm a big fan of magnesium, vitamin D, K2D3, fish oil. These are like my biggest three for all humans. Yeah, I agree about fruits being living. Um, and the only time I'm hesitant is when you're very insulin resistant. You should basically only try to focus on just berries. There's a ton of different berries to enjoy, including strawberries. If you focus on just berries, you can get some of the benefits that you want. It gives you something to look forward to. You can sprinkle some allulose on your berries and make it sweet, and that could be your dessert without harming your metabolic health. And then as you become more insulin sensitive, that's when you can start incorporating more fruits, delicious fruits, because there's so many different types of delicious fruit out there. Me and my fiance have this new thing where we go to the H Mart and get all these different exotic fruits as much as we can. Yeah, Steph, I like that concept. When you start becoming more insulin sensitive, eat your water in the form of electric live fruit. I like that. If you have high blood pressure, too much sodium and too much potassium makes you feel worse. Um, I mean, in an isolated experiment, sure, but when you're making these changes and you reduce insulin levels, your blood pressure is going to drop rapidly. So sodium's ability to override the decrease in blood pressure from reducing insulin levels, there's no comparison. Don't be afraid of your salt. Salt's not the issue. Insulin is the issue for your high blood pressure. I know that might come to a shock, Stacy, and you might disagree, but I'm telling you right now, salt's effect on raising blood pressure is minuscule. Insulin's ability to raise blood pressure, massive, massive. Marcella, my lab insulin test was 7, but my A1C is 5.2. So I'm still insulin resistant. Yes, you are. But I don't know what it was before. So um but maybe you're making progress, but yeah, we got to keep working. We got to keep going. I've been on Manjaro for 2 years, but I now feel sensitive on my skin, like sunburn feeling. That is very bizarre. Have you talked to your prescribers and what do they say? Beef is king. Yeah, at 10 o'clock, man. After our, yeah, I have the call with Dan. I went off my GLP-1 cold turkey and I felt I didn't have an off switch with appetite, couldn't feel full. Why is that? Because the medication's effect is short lived. The medication does not have a permanent ability to affect you or improve you. So when you stop a medication, the improve the improvements that were associated with the medication stop. It's really that simple. The only way that you will be long term, the only way you'll be successful at long term weight maintenance is if you implemented permanent lifestyle change. And this is where I center around. This is where I think we really have such a dialed in program. The the 10 pillars of lasting weight loss. Eating less processed foods, eating less carbohydrates. Now it's 11 pillars, eating less plants. It's going to be the 11 pillars now. And I was realizing, babe, we don't have hydration in its own pillar. So now we're at 12 pillars. We're going to have to, it's too many pillars. But they're all, I don't know how to separate them. They're all so important. To get my point, there's 10 to 12 pillars. There's really, really important things to consider, that these are all in the bucket of lifestyle. And the time that you spend trying to optimize these different categories of health is going to pay dividends in your long-term weight maintenance game plan. It's all about that. I'm gonna have to be ending my live here soon, guys. Any last minute questions before I let you go? Um, just so you know, I go live every single day. John, it depends. If you already are on a GLP-1, I would go with the AOD. Wisdom, make sure you follow us and make sure you get connected. Guys, I go live every single morning, Monday through Friday, 5:30 Mountain Standard Time, and I go live on the weekends. Be sure to follow me on we have 3 different TikTok pages, although I go live from this one. Follow us on the YouTube, subscribe to the podcast. We do have a free Facebook community. We have some pretty awesome Facebook or weight loss guides and peptide guides. Oh yeah, an animal-based diet, in my opinion, is the best diet. Yes, if you are out of the country, you can still join my coaching programs. You can still join. Wow, thank you. Mur says, I sat through your entire life. That's so awesome. That means the world to me. And I'm glad that you found it informative. I do my best. I do my best to do that for you guys. So this phone number here, guys, last thing I'm going to say, Facebook page is not in the bio. No, you're going to have to text us if you want the Facebook group or if you want the YouTube page or if you want to obviously work with us. I would recommend you guys become a subscriber to this TikTok. It's $10 a month to be a TikTok live subscriber. And I will start doing some lives solely for my subgroup so that you guys can get some rapid fire questions in with me. So after the free resources, you can become a subscriber. Just I think, I don't know if you can do it in the live. You have to go to my home bio page and there's going to be subscriptions and you can subscribe there. But I'll do some live private coaching groups for you guys. The Facebook community, the Flow Academy membership is on Mighty Networks. And of course, my coaching programs, so that this can be the last weight loss program you ever have to do. If your insurance won't cover it, I got you covered. Compounding medications are very affordable. Is it okay to add some oral in? I can't give you medical advice personally, but yeah, it can be very beneficial. I want to remind you guys before I leave, we are hiring another advisor. This is going to be the person that's responsible for taking those phone calls, the free consultation that I'm telling you guys to get scheduled for. The advisor is the one that takes those calls and helps the individual like you get to know exactly what their goals are, what their struggles are, and then recommends a program. So that position, you need to be passionate about what I do, have a good understanding, obviously, and it is a completely commission-based role. So if you guys are interested in applying for that, make sure you submit a video. There's an application link right here. We can send you the link here. And if you're interested in being an affiliate or a referral, these would be people that direct their audience to basically what I did today. I acted like a referral for my own company today, a referrer. So if you're interested in becoming a referrer and making commissions that way by spreading the word and offering our services, which I recommend TikTok Live is the best way to do that, shoot us a link and we can get you the link to apply for that too as well. We have our affiliate and referral programs as well, just as much as we're growing so fast, guys. It's been really fun. I think people are finally, like I said, sick and tired of being sick and tired. The average cost of my program is going to vary dramatically. It depends totally on how involved you want to be. Do you want direct access to me? Do you want some access to me? Do you need no access to me? It's totally up to you. They're going to go over all of that, the peptides, what options, the packages, all of that during that first call.